We're at Shane's Rib Shack. It's football in focus and sports in focus for a Thursday night. Good to be back at Shane's for another round of our sports talk on this Thursday. Going to be talking about some of our teams tonight. Got the Jamestown Middle School football team tonight. Coach Curt Switalski is with us. Switalski with us. Coach Curt, good to see you as always. And
good to see you.
Another good job and another good year.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You guys haven't slipped up much the past 2 years. You guys have been almost near perfect, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a 16-game winning streak, including 7-0 the last 2 years.
Wow. Going back 3 years ago, you guys haven't lost it now.
Right. Yeah,
2.5
years.
Yeah. Yes, unreal. Only 7 games, though, right?
Correct. We're only allowed. We play 7 games with Guilford County. I've been kind of getting on Lee Hibbard about trying to get a playoff because you are allowed, if you have playoffs, to play more.
Right.
But it's only 7 regular season games in the state of North Carolina, and I'd like to see, because there's 4 conferences now in Guilford County of middle schools, like the do a type of seeding, like 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, and
perfect.
I think it raised a lot of money. It'd be kind of fun.
How'd that game go? We missed it last Thursday. You were playing Mendenhall last Thursday, Battle of the Unbeatens, I guess, over at your place. How'd that game go?
It was very exciting. I don't think we played our best game. We dropped some passes. Our quarterback was off a little bit. Had his first turnover of the year, actually. But when it came time for push and shove, I think we really came through. We scored on the first drive of the second half.
And that, so scoreless game at halftime?
Yes, it was scoreless game at halftime. We had a drive in the first half down to about the 15, and then we gave up on a fumble. But then we scored in the first drive of the second half, and that held up. We were trying to run out the clock. We got down to about their 15. But then we had a penalty. We had to turn it over on downs, and they had 3.5 minutes left, I think, to go about 80 yards. And they ended up getting down to our 2 with 14 seconds left, but they had no timeouts.
Wow.
And they tried to run kind of a quarterback off tackle or quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
They had a very big physical quarterback.
Big guy, yeah.
Yeah, and we stuffed them with about 1 initial kid, and then about 5 others helped, and that basically the clock ran out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
2-yard line.
Yeah.
Wow, that was an intriguing game, huh?
Yeah, it was a very good game between 2 very good teams. They were a good team too.
That was almost like a championship game there, if we could call it that, right?
Yeah, it was, because it was a non-conference game, but before the game, both teams had agreed to play overtime in case it went that way.
Oh man, good deal.
And which usually you don't in non-conference, but both teams kind of wanted to settle it, the other coaches. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
A lot of good future talent on both those teams too. By watching your teams, how you guys against Kernodle, saw Mendenhall take on, I think, Southeast or some team they played in Mendenhall. Anyway, a lot of good future talent for Page coming out of Mendenhall, for Ragsdale coming for your team.
I believe so. Yeah. So I believe so. I think we got a very good group of kids. I think they can help Ragsdale very quickly. And Mendenhall, they didn't have a lot of size, but they were well coached, and I think especially the quarterback and some of their skilled players will be playing very quickly.
And that little number 21, little scat back in the backfield, that kid was pretty quick for them.
Yeah. 21 was difficult for us, especially when they started setting them out in patterns. In the passing game.
Saw him a couple of times breaking left, breaking right. Maybe that game against Southeast had a chance to get open. He was pretty quick doing that.
Yes, he was. Yes.
Now, what does that 7-0 record mean to Jamestown Middle School, mean to your school, mean to your program? There's got to be a lot of excitement around the school when you guys play that well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pride in our program, and I try to instill that in the kids, the tradition. And I know Ragsdale's a little down this year, but to carry that on, Ragsdale's, that we have a history of playing good football in that area, and I believe, they take pride in it, but they know year to year they got to build their own legacy.
You ever see yourself maybe down the road working up toward Ragsdale, helping out over there? Well, it'd be kind of fun to hear about the coaches over the years that, some programs you can move up with your kids. Anyway, I mean, you get a chance to go back and coach some of those kids you coach in middle school. You ever move toward that way someday?
Well, that's actually where I learned. I think my best. Yeah, I started as quarterback coach with Coach Norwood.
Who was your coach back in the day? One of the Pope brothers?
Yeah, I got to Coach Wesley.
Yeah.
Tony Baker was on the team.
Oh, man, those are good days.
Yeah, Walt Sparks, Billy Stone.
Well, Sparks, Billy Stones, those guys together, just a power of defense.
Yeah.
I remember Walt's number 42. I mean, because it's still envision his number, he played so much out there.
Yeah. And I got to coach both of them in middle school, I'm sorry. But I learned a lot of things from Coach Norwood. Organization and and you know.
When you got
being
to
ready to
Jamestown Middle School, how'd you go about building the program? How'd you go about building that program over there?
Well, I knew we had talent there. Like I said, I was the quarterback coach at Ragsdale, and my dream had always been to become a head high school coach. And then we learned we were about to start a family, my wife and I.
Yeah.
And your priorities kind of change a little bit.
Absolutely.
And the principal I've always taught at Jamestown Middle, and the principal there asked me if I considered coming to help their program because the year before I started, they only won one game.
Wow.
So
To me, if I were a coach, I'd rather take over a program like that myself. It'd be nice to have a program that had a good, solid foundation coming in, but sometimes the challenge is more fun to take over a team that's been struggling. Just on the back of your mind, you got a chance to do something, make something happen. Plus, you knew that Jamestown YMCA program was solid, too, from what we hear.
Right, yeah, it was. I knew there was talent because we were coaching it, at the next level, and and that motto my first year was worst to first. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we did. So it was a lot of fun.
A lot of discipline, a lot of fundamentals. You stick to the book.
Yeah. I mean, we do fundamentals every practice at some point, except for the day before the game. And I think that's so important with kids this age.
Talk about these two young men you brought tonight, Mr. McNeil and Mr. Boykins. You got Devin Boykins, you got Lamont McNeil. Talk about those two guys being to your team.
Well, I think they were the MVPs of our team. If I had to pick a most outstanding player in the county for middle school level, I think hands down it'd be Devin.
Devin does a lot on both sides of the ball, right?
Yes, Devin never leaves the field, returns kicks, free safety, quarterback. His stats are kind of like, Peyton Manning back in the day, kind of Star Wars-ish. In 7 games, I think he threw 14 touchdown passes. That's averaging 2 at middle school level. He ran for 6 or 7. 2-point conversions, he ran for 2 or 3. He threw for 2 or 3, and as a free safety, he picked off 3 passes and returned one of those for a touchdown.
He sounds like as a quarterback, like the Hendon Hooker type prototype in some ways.
Yeah, I'm a
Plus
little
he's got
biased.
some height too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little biased, but I think he's more advanced than Mr. Hooker because we played against him. At Southwest.
What about? What about Southwest? I understand Hooker's brother might have been over there.
Yeah, his little brother was.
He quarterbacking over there?
Yeah, he was the quarterback.
You guys faced them?
Yeah, we beat them in our conference championship game, 28-0.
Wow.
And we really controlled. We didn't allow them a first down till late in the fourth quarter. Not a first down. And can I expand on Lamont a little bit? And Lamont, I think, is the best tailback in Guilford County. As a corner, he also never left the field. He played corner for us. He did not give up a touchdown pass all year, and probably ran for almost 1,000 yards and I think 8 touchdowns in only 7 games.
Yeah. My Lord. Yeah. Does he have a brother relative in the program too? I know Devin does.
No.
No McNeil's. Okay.
He's a heck of both of them are heck of basketball players too.
Very good athletes, no doubt about that. What was the hardest game? Probably the Mendenhall game was maybe the toughest game?
Yep. Yeah, I'd say the Mendenhall game. Because it was, we had already clinched the conference championship against our rival Southwest the week before. So there's always kind of a natural letdown. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually glad they were 6-0 just like us because it's easier to get the kids up.
And plus, it kind of helped maybe some ways too. I think I may be right. You were the few teams got to play last week because your game was moved to a Thursday. Everybody else scheduled to play Wednesday. A lot of rain coming through. You got pushed back back to Thursday, which might have helped you too to get that game in.
Exactly. Yeah. Ragsdale playing on Thursday that week in the televised game
on
helped
the road.
us a bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then their Thursday the stadium was open.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We were able to get it in.
Are all the middle schools through now? Season's over. All the middle schools? They're still trying to make up games.
No, I know there's a game between Ferndale and Hairston on Monday.
Wow.
That is for their conference championship.
Ferndale and
Hairston over at Simeon Stadium. Yeah.
Wow, good battle there. High Point team versus the Greensboro team there.
Correct. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So those would be in that Final Four. Longview, yourself, and Mendenhall. That would be the Final Four, I guess. We put the Final Four together.
Mendenhall would have been the Final Four. Us, Mendenhall, who are the winner of
that game.
Ferndale, Hairston, and boy, I don't know the other.
Somebody else out there?
Yeah, somebody else.
Gotcha. When you were coming back for this year, did you feel like this was going to be another productive year like you'd had? I guess with having guys like Lamont and also Devin back, you knew something good was going to happen.
Well, we knew Devin was special. He played free safety for us last year. We had an 8th grade quarterback, but we were hoping he was going to be special. He sure turned out to be that way. And Lamont actually did not play for us last year. He played Pop Warner. But I knew he was a heck of an athlete, and actually before the season I talked him into coming out
and
to play. And yeah, he turned out to be a heck of a player.
Well, I tell you, the first thing caught my attention, my first impression sometimes, because I hear about these kids for so long. I've been hearing about Devin since he was helping out the varsity team of Brian Herndon made that mention about a couple years. The referees just acknowledged the good job Devin did. I'm thinking about a little kid coming in, how's it going? And then he's a big kid.
Yeah.
Good-sized kid.
Yeah, he is. He's a good-sized kid and very fluid athlete. I mean, some of the moves you'd see in practice or in games, it'd be kind of like, what the heck just happened?
From an 8th grade kid, right?
Yeah, and same thing with Lamont. Lamont's got he's not very big at all, and you'll see that. But he's got some very sand. All his weight is in his thighs.
Yeah.
And he's very shifty.
A lot of power.
Yes, a lot of power. A lot more than you'd think.
Wow. I tell you, those hips can be big, too, because you can shuck a lot of people off to try to get on those hips and knock you down, take you down. Your coaching background and your football background. Let's go to your football background. I know you've been a football man for years, all the way back toward Green Bay, going back that way.
Yeah, I grew up in Wisconsin, played football in the Milwaukee area. Was fortunate enough to be all conference and all Milwaukee area there. Played at Cal State Fullerton, California.
That's good stuff.
Then I moved down to North Carolina, where I finished up college at UNC Greensboro. And that's when I got into coaching and teaching. I mean, I always wanted to be a teacher and coach. And then my first job was with Southeast as the offensive line coach.
Wow. Was that the middle school or the varsity?
No, the varsity, when Kenny Helms was there.
Oh, Coach Helms, remember him well. Yeah, good man.
Yeah. And Roy Turner was the AD that hired me.
Wow, good stuff.
And then after that first year, Coach Norwood actually approached me and asked me to come on board at Ragsdale.
So you've had a nice journey then, going from like the middle of the country kind of on toward the West Coast and back to the East Coast and around. It's been a good journey for you.
Yes, it has. Yeah, it's been quite a journey. Yes.
Now, you like it where you're at right now? Kind of laid down roots here, you think?
Yeah. I think I've become, you go to the grocery store and you hear a lot of, hey, coach.
I love that. Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. It's nice. And, and these kids, it's going to be to the point pretty soon I'm going to be coaching somebody else's, one of my old players' kids. I'm sure it's coming up very soon.
Is that one thing you love the most about coaching, is just that camaraderie and being around the community, being around the families?
I think so. And seeing these kids, they really become a family. And I try to stress that to them, too, that my best friends, still to this day, and I'm 51 years old, are guys I played sports with.
Wow, amazing.
And they, and to become a family and stay tight and push each other as they go on to the next level.
So you're up to 51. It's hard to believe. I remember you back many years ago, a young guy, almost like you said, almost like a college guy back in the day.
Yeah.
Things have gone good for you, though. It's been good here.
Yeah. It's been very nice. We started a family. I have 2 children.
What's your little daughter's name?
Kylie, my son. Wanted to be here, but he's actually got Pop Warner practice.
Pop Warner practice?
Yeah, for the Ragsdale Tigers.
Wow, where do they practice? At school there, somewhere?
Yeah, at Ragsdale usually, but with the time change, they're practicing under the lights on the girls' softball field tonight.
Gotcha.
So I had to drop him off and run over here.
Gotcha. Do you see yourself as a lifetime coach, or you think maybe someday the family might get so big you need to back away from it? How do you see that?
No, I think we're done with the kids.
Okay.
That's the number.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know what the future holds, but I mean, I know I'm going to coach a few
The
more,
nutty
at
thing
least
is
5, 6
you said you're 51, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you get in the teaching right around age 22 or a little later?
No, actually, when I went to college out in California, and then I tore my knee up, and then I'd always come home in the summers to work a little bit, and then I ended up, like a lot of young guys, I was kind of going to school to play football at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't know what I was going to do, and my knee was, back in those days, it was, it was pretty bad, and then I decided I got a full-time job with a city where I grew up in, where my older brother lived, but then as time went by, I was like, this isn't fulfilling. And then I met my wife, and then she moved down here. We did a long distance thing for a little bit, and I'm like, she was very supportive, and I moved down here, went back to school, and finished up down here at UNC Greensboro.
So you've been in teaching now how long, you think?
It's my 17th year.
So we got 13 more to go then.
Yeah.
That still gets you out at a decent time, though. 13,
64.
That's not bad.
I might try to get out at 25.
Might do
25 years, yeah.
64, you're not bad because you still got a young energy approach, so you're still doing pretty good with that then.
Yeah, I try. I think I'm very active and still working out and that kind of thing. I still consider myself actually an athlete. So, I really enjoy what's going on right now.
Getting those kids started in football, what do you got to do to get these kids motivated this day and time? Being a motivator on the team is pretty important too as a head coach. And getting them motivated, keeping these kids motivated. And the key is the focus, keeping these kids focused.
Keeping the kids focused, and that's why I think every week, and And I kind of learned that from Coach Norwood. I noticed it. You put in something new. You do something new.
Yeah.
Whether it's a play, a gadget play, a formation, you do something new to pique their interest, and that really, keeps them interested, I believe.
Got to keep teaching.
Yep, and keep teaching. Yeah.
Keep giving them something fresh, giving them something new.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. What's your favorite college team?
Wisconsin Badgers. That's where I wished I could have went and played.
They've had some tough coaches over the years.
Yeah.
Tough coaches, yeah.
Yeah. But as a 5'10" linebacker, I didn't get a lot of looks from. I was hoping to get, from Wisconsin.
If you knew then what you know now, you could have still been Sam Mills or prototype of Sam Mills.
Yeah. I was thinking myself as Zach Thomas.
Yeah. Miami Dolphins, yeah.
Or Sam Mills, exactly.
Boy, that's Sam Mills.
I wish they wouldn't have, back then it was kind of stereotyping. You're not tall enough to play there.
Right. It is so tough. You got to prove them wrong, or you got to change positions, and you got to go from being a 5'10", 200-some-pound linebacker to a little bit lighter defensive back. That's a pretty tough transition.
Yeah, it would have been. And I didn't. As far as DB, I wouldn't have had the speed for that. I thought I had it for linebacker.
What about the favorite pro team? Without me telling everybody before I ask you this question.
Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
Growing up in Wisconsin, that's what you dream of playing.
Absolutely.
Especially, hearing about Ray Nitschke. And that's what I played, middle linebacker. Growing up to be the next Ray Nitschke.
Wow, you got some good upbringing in here about the older players like that and respecting the older guys that made that team and made that program what it was.
Yeah, and I actually got to meet. I still remember it. I got to meet Bart Starr.
Wow.
At the Vince Lombardi Classic golf tournament one year.
Got a lot of respect for Bart Starr, I really do. Because I know he's going through a lot right now from what I've read. He's going through some tough issues health-wise. So really got a lot of respect for Bart Starr these days, no doubt.
Yeah, he's a great man.
And that leads to the next question. What about the Packers and the Panthers this week? How you seeing that developing?
Well, I'm hoping for my son is a big Panthers fan since he grew up here, and he's 12. And I'm hoping they bounce back from the clunker the egg they laid the other Sunday night
Against the Broncos?
Yeah. That was the worst I've seen them play in years. I never would have expected that coming off a bye and getting some people healthy, and so I would think they're pretty fired up because to be quite frank, they got embarrassed on national TV.
Are you as happy with the grand scheme of things, Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback, as you were when Brett Favre was back there?
Yeah, I actually, I always love Favre. Same thing with Rodgers. I think as long as they're back there healthy, they got a chance to win a Super Bowl. That's how I always approach it. I just thought near the end of his career, Favre got a little bit where he thought he was the team instead of part of the team.
Yeah. I think it's crazy like that. Sometimes the quarterback thinks he is the standard bearer for the team and doesn't realize that next guy behind him. I mean, sometimes it's better if the guy would just realize I can help coach this guy, help this guy come along, and he'll help maintain the status of this franchise.
Yeah. And from what I understand, it was he wasn't too much help, especially the first year.
And it kind of makes him look a little rough around the edges going out of here too, the way his career ended, going to several different teams and just trying to hang on on life support almost towards the end.
Yeah, towards the end, yeah.
You wish you could finish with a team X amount. Even like Steve Smith, I wish he could have finished with the Panthers. Because look at it right now. I mean, he got injured, I think, with the Ravens last week, tore an Achilles or something like that. Now he's in. This is going to be his last year. Hate to see a guy go out like that. If he would have stuck around, just think what he might have been able to be a part of. If he would have just adjusted a little bit.
Right.
He would have had to make some changes and kind of come around because it's definitely Cam Newton's team now. I don't think Steve Smith was willing to buy into that, but if he would have, could have been nice.
Yeah, and I don't know much about that situation, but kind of sounded was kind of both ways that he wanted to still be paid, and they wanted him to take a pay cut. And
that gets big too. Like you said, when it comes down to the financial side, the guy's got a family. There is a lot more involved than meets the eye sometimes there.
Yes.
What about the Panthers? Think they can win a Super Bowl? Is that a Super Bowl team? What you saw Monday night? It's hard to tell in that bad weather.
Yeah, I mean, I think I love and my son loves Jonathan Stewart. I do too. If he can stay healthy, I think they have a legitimate chance because their defense, the way Kuechly and Thomas Davis fly around, there's something else. And I think the key is, can Jonathan Stewart play a whole season?
Think about him. He's kind of a throwback to the old running backs, not today's running backs. He's wide open, crazy speedsters. He's more like a driving power back, like maybe that guy was it Jim Taylor back in the day.
Yep, for the Packers.
Yeah, like that back in the old days.
Yeah, he is. And he's a combination of speed and power.
And the guy doesn't mind getting hit. I mean, those backs who run inside just take so many pops. It's unreal. It's sometimes makes you wonder how they can't last that long.
Right. Well, I hope he does because he's a heck of a player. He's fun to watch.
Are you already rebuilding for next year? Getting things in mind for next year's Jamestown Tigers team, or And here's a question, too, for you. How do you make this, what happened this year, last year's taking care of itself, how do you make what happened this year last, enjoy it for the moment, but still then start getting ready for the next season?
Well, we're allowed to do skill sessions anytime we want in the spring, except for a few dead periods they have. And we start that in the spring, and we start bringing them out. You got to have, just like the high school, less than 21. And, you know, you start looking at kids then. We work them out, and you run them through drills specific to the position.
You can't have your players from this past year's team to work out those workouts, can you?
No.
You can't help them get ready for their next step. They got to go do that somewhere else, I guess.
Actually, they can until they graduate 8th grade.
Okay, so they could be working out with you guys this spring.
Yeah, but usually they don't. They're kind of done with it.
They got a new program going for somebody.
Correct.
The coach is already working with for the next level, too.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, give me the final thought about what happened this year. How do you sum all this up, what took place this season? What made this the best year you've ever had coaching, possibly?
I think it was just a real special group of kids that, you know, winning attitude. They knew from the beginning what we wanted to accomplish. You know, I remember telling them, we're not going to sneak up on anybody. We expect to win, and other schools know that now. And I just think the way they went about their business and practiced hard every day, you know, mature beyond their years, beyond 13 and 14-year-olds. I mean, our first string outscored opponents. I was looking this up earlier, 222 to 24.
Wow.
Our first string. 222 to 24. Yeah. And so it was, you know, it was fun. It was a good group. They got tight. You know, at the end, in the last team huddle, after we had beaten Mendenhall with that goal line stand, you know, kind of give everybody, somebody want to say something.
Yeah.
You know, kids were just expressing how glad they were to be part of this family, and they made a lot of new friends, and they just loved being a part of it.
Okay, so let's let you roll. Which player you bring in first? Who steps up first? Your choice.
Why don't we bring in Lamont?
Okay, Lamont will be first then. Let's bring Lamont in next. Lamont McNeil up for the Shane